Hello friends, my name is Dhananjay Kumar and today we are going to learn about a new tool called Talend Data Preparation. I am very excited to discuss this tool with you. I find this tool immensely useful in what I do. I have cleaned a lot of CRM messy data with this tool and it's immensely useful. One of the best thing about this tool is that it is free of cost. Not every free thing is good, but sometimes if there is a particular software which genuinely provides some value addition to your task, and if it is free, then I think it's the best thing to do. So as I was saying, we are going to discuss about this tool called Talent Data Preparation, and it's a very small presentation, and in the end I have kept a small demo for you so that you can see what this tool can do for you. So I'll start my presentation. Talent Data Preparation. So it's a free software, as I mentioned previously, and it has two versions. One is the subscription version and another one is the free desktop version. It's a fully functional data preparation tool. It has all the data cleansing capabilities. It has visual tools and a very intuitive UI. I have analyzed more than 10 data preparation, data cleansing tools, but the kind of UI that I've seen here with this tool, it's simply great. It has some very innovative concepts like recipes and smart functions. We'll talk more about recipes and smart functions in the later slides and when I'll give you a demo. It has something called reusability. It's a self-service tool, so it's very intuitive, so you need not be very technically sound to use this tool. Any business analyst, marketing person, a data scientist, a data engineer, a technical, non-technical person can use this tool. So as mentioned in the previous slide, Talend Data Preparation, I'm talking about the free desktop version. It comes in two versions, subscription and free desktop. The free desktop version is free for one user. One of the very good capability of this tool is that it integrates with Tableau. So Tableau is a software which is just a mind-boggling data visualization tool. It's simply great, and this Talend tool, which is free of cost, has a native capability to integrate with Tableau, which I think is a great thing. It supports multiple data formats. It supports CSV, TSV, Excel, and other data sets. It has something called auto discovery, smart suggestions, and data visualization. I find these three things immensely useful. You hover over a column in an Excel sheet and it will tell you how many rows are there, what patterns are there, what particular term is repeated most of the time. So those kind of things. Something which is very unique to this tool is called recipe. What is recipe? I'm going to let you know in the next slide. You can download this tool using this URL. When you go to this URL, just ensure that you pick the right version, which is free desktop version. Now, before we talk about this tool, we need to understand what is a data. I assume every one of us know what is a data set. Data set is a collection of data that we analyze, but data set has some peculiar meaning with respect to Talend Data Preparation. So when it comes to Talend Data Preparation, so a data set holds a raw data that can be used as the raw material for one or more recipes. In this Talend tool, it is presented as a table on which you can apply recipes without affecting the original data. So you can manipulate data without actually affecting or impacting the original data set. I find this capability very, very useful. So as the original data set is not altered by the recipes, data set can be reused across different preparations. I find this capability very, very useful. One of the thing that I do with spreadsheet is that I copy the original data set and then I do the data manipulation. With this, you just import the data and do your manipulation. You can see your manipulation data cleansing thing at the runtime, real time, but it will still not impact the original data set. There is something called function. A function is an action applied on a line or a column in a data set, such as removing empty lines or removing leading or trailing zeros, those kind of things. As functions are applied on data sets, they do not modify the original data. This is something which is very important to note here. It does not modify the original data set. Applied functions are recorded in a sequence into recipe. So whatever functions that you apply on a data set, that particular function can be applied and can be recorded, can be saved in a sequence. That sequence is called recipe. As mentioned in my previous slide, I'll talk more about recipe. A recipe is literally defined as a set of directions with a list of ingredients for making or preparing something in Talend Data Preparation tool. So within this tool, the ingredients are the raw data set called the data set, and the directions are the set of functions applied to the data set. So what it means is that, when you apply multiple function to a data set, you can record that multiple functions, you can save that multiple functions, and the sequence in which that functions are applied and saved, that particular sequence is called a recipe. As I said, this is just a small introduction of this great tool. I'll directly jump to a demo, and most of the things that I've talked about here will be clear once I give you a practical demonstration of what I just talked. So this is the Talend Data Preparation tool. I am intentionally not talking about the installation because I feel the installation is pretty much straightforward. If you are on Windows, you would have an exe file which you just have to double click and follow the wizard. And if you are on Mac, there would be a DMG file, a similar process. Visual interface will guide you how to install it. Once installed, this tool will open itself in a browser, and once open, this is a screen that you will see. So this screen tells you that what kind of data sets are available to you. These are some of the data sets that come bundled up with this tool. But at the same time, you can add your own data set. To add your own data set, this is the button. You can choose a local file, and you can choose spreadsheet or anything, CSV, TSV, whatever data set that you want to import here. Since I have already imported data set, I won't be importing any new data set here. I would be working on one of the data set mentioned here. Since I work in CRM space a lot, for this demo, I would be choosing this particular data set, customer marketing leads. If you see, there are a couple of options available. You can modify the name here. You can export from here. You can copy this data set into another data set. You can delete this data set from the Talend Data Preparation tool, or you can bookmark it. I'll just click on this on the title of the data set, and once clicked, it will show you the data inside the data set. The moment I see this data, I realize that this is a very messy kind of a data set. It has really a lot of bad values. It has leading and preceding spaces here, invalid email addresses. It has a integer column, ID column, which has some alphanumeric characters, some alphabet kind of, some non-numeric characters here. This is a good data set to work upon. It gives you a lot of options to cleanse the data, and there is generally a lot of bad data in this data set. Let's take a look at the name field column. To select this column, just click on the header. So the moment you click on the header, you would realize that on the right hand side it would have some visualization, and it would have some functions. So let's cleanse this particular column. To do this, I'll choose the available functions here. These are the functions. These are the available functions here. So these are the things that you can do to manipulate or cleanse this data. Since the first column signifies name, I'll change the style of the text here. I'll find what functions are available. Here you can search for different functions. Since this column is already highlighted, I'll change the style of this column to title case. If you see carefully, there are still leading and preceding spaces here. So let us find a function which removes these kind of spaces. So as you can see here, there is a function called remove white spaces, trailing and leading. I'll just choose this function and see the leading and preceding zeros are all removed automatically. So now the date column looks very clean. It seems that we are able to cleanse this particular column. So we'll move to another column. So in this case, let's choose date. As you must have seen, once I clicked on date column, you can see a nice visualization here. It tells me the range. It tells me what the frequency, and it also tells me the pattern. So if you see this pattern, it has something called MDYYY, DMYYY. So it seems that it has multiple patterns. So in any data set, same data with multiple pattern is simply unacceptable. So to remove this kind of discrepancy, we need to choose a relevant function which can bring all our dates into a singular uniform format. To do that, we again need to move to this function pan and need to find a relevant function for date. So to find, let's type date here and see what kind of functions are available for date. There is something called change date format. Maybe this can be useful to us. So we will choose the correct format here. There are multiple options available: French, German, Japan, US. So let's choose US standard and submit it. Great. So our date format is now simplified and has been brought into a uniform format. Now let's choose another column within this data set. Let's choose ID. Now if you see carefully, ID has some trailing spaces, and in some of the in some of the cell you would see some non-numeric characters like @. It seems that there are some alphabets as well. Let's remove this @ character. So one easiest thing to do in this Talend data tool is that you can directly do the correction on the cell itself. So you can double click this cell and you can just remove @ and it will apply to all cells with this value. Great. Now we'll again remove the leading and trailing white spaces, and it seems like this column should only have numeric characters. It seems that this particular data set is a outlier because it says integer here and rest of the columns, rest of the cells all have numeric characters. So it seems that this particular cell is not correct. So either you can just remove this A, or you can again create a find a function which will remove all the non-numeric characters. Let's find a function which removes all the non-numeric characters. So in this function search bar, I typed numeric, and I found a function which says remove all non-numeric characters, which is great, which is exactly what I want. So let's click this function, and great, that A is removed now. There is another thing which bothers me. I see this email column and I find this @g, which I obviously know is not a valid email address. So it can be any email address, but I'll choose my discretion and I will assume that @g means @gmail.com. So I would like to replace @g with @gmail.com. To do this, let's find another function. To do this, I'll choose another function called replace cells that match. What I'll do here is that I'll click this particular function. I'll put the value @g, and I'll put the replacement as @gmail.com. Submit. Great. It seems that this is a valid email address now. So in the presentation I talked about functions. So I'm pretty sure that you know what functions are now. These are the functions that are available within this tool. But there is another very important thing that I talked about, and that was recipes. So what is recipes and where exactly recipe is? Do you see this arrow here? Just click on this arrow, and these are the functions that you have used to cleanse this data set. This is the complete list of functions with the correct sequence that you have used to cleanse this data set. Talend Data Preparation tool provides you an option of saving this recipe so that you can use this data set with similar or with the same data set again. So this particular sequence of function is called recipe. So this concludes my demo where I successfully demonstrated how I cleansed a messy data set into a perfectly valid clean data set. Thank you.